Hello there, I'd like to tell you about an experience I've had recently. And before I do, I want to speak about something else, which is this 3D and 5D. So much is being said about 3D and 5D these days, and it's not surprising, considering what's going on, is that we are literally having the ability to slip in and out of and between these two states. And sometimes this happens and we're quite unaware of the fact that it's going on. Other times we notice it, and yet at other times it's possible to deliberately engineer a shift from one state into the other. But before even that, I want to just make this point, which is it's very hard to remember what I'm going to say next, which is that we are living in utterly extraordinary times. We are having the most incredible experiences, and we tend to take them all completely for granted because this is how things are at the moment. So, if you like, our normal is the extraordinary times we're living in. We've got such polarization going on, and I want to refer to a few points in history. The 1960s was the first really big polarization between technology and materialism, which was suddenly upended by the hippies and psychedelic medicines like LSD, which completely changed everything in terms of the world's development. And you'll see this pattern recurring over and over. Another time that was really clear to me was in the 1980s. We suddenly had the culture of loads of money. Loads of money, I got loads of money, people used to say. And it was all about the greed culture. And out of that was born the rave culture, which was about people taking really strong, powerful chemicals to blast through all the third dimensional blocks that were imposed upon people through what was going on in the society at the time, and enter into their hearts. And that was the ecstasy revolution, which was an extraordinary development itself in the 1980s. And what we're having now is another one. We're in the middle of another one at the moment, and this is where the 3D and the 5D really come in. So I want to just clarify what I mean by this. So the easiest way to think of 3D is if you are preoccupied or worried or concerned, or you feel like you need something, something's bothering you, or you're very much aware of your identity or the identity of other people around you. It suddenly becomes very important the colour of people's skin, what religion it is that they practice, where they're brought up, what class they come from. All these things are very much tied up with what I call identity. The work, the job, the career, and especially if it's a career which can be seen as having any importance at all, and then we can launch into one of those wonderful qualities known in shamanism as self-importance. When you become so convinced of your own importance in life, or the opposite, when you feel like you're just a piece of trash. All these are what you could call judgments, for want of a better word, and judgments is the realm of 3D. 3D gets us up in the morning at certain times to do what we've got to do. It gets us to work, it gets us to do the things that we might otherwise feel like, do I really have to do that? And yes, we do. That's how society functions, that's how everything works. We all play our part, whatever that part might be. And some people without a paid job or profession end up doing as much or a lot more than people with paid jobs in terms of making a difference in the world. So the way I like to look at 3D is it's about identity. And that's so clear because 5D is about the complete loss of identity. And that's something I've been experiencing and working with the last couple of years, and developed a protocol involving the use of particular fungi together with another particular psychoactive plant. And that was a really big step in my understanding, and I've been taking another big step. So what I would say is that people needed to catalyze 5D experiences, if you go back into the 20th century, by having a harsh, strong chemical. In the 21st century, it's reached a point where we're working with plant medicines, much more whole, much more complete, but still in their own way strong. But what I'm becoming very clearly aware of is that as time is going on, as the energies of the centre of the Milky Way galaxy impact us progressively more with each day that goes by. This is something that's been happening since 2012 significantly. What this means is our psychic abilities are opening up, we're becoming more sensitive, and most particularly to the world of the plants. So it is possible to catalyse a 5D experience simply by being surrounded by beautiful plants, enjoying their flowers. In fact, that's another one, going into a garden where there are plenty of flowers and just slowing right down, doing some really slow, deep breath work and looking at a flower or some flowers. This is a way you can catalyse a 5D experience. Suddenly, there is no identity. There is you in joy, in ecstasy, in delight, in wonder. These are the classic 5D descriptor words which it's helpful to use to understand all this. So I've recently, in my researches, come up with another protocol which I'm going to be working with people on the retreat at the last weekend of September. And if you're interested in about this, please look at the film links which I include in the description. That'll go into a lot more detail than I'm able to go into right now. So what I'm aware of is that we are inevitably heading to a place where wonder, rapture, ecstasy, delight, joy are going to become our entire existence. And this is on a timeline. This is a timeline which is developing. And of course, the thing that no one really knows, although everyone's got so many different opinions, no one really knows how long this is going to take. And some people are very much looking forward to being completely 5D now. And to all of you, this is what I'd say. The real 5D approach to 5D is not wanting it to happen now. It's to be in complete acceptance, love, enjoyment and appreciation of all that is, including going to work, including, dare I say it, paying our taxes, including standing waiting for a bus, including all of the things that we do in order to function in our mainstream society, which is in the process of disintegration. And there are new structures and ways of being which are being created, most particularly in places like Glastonbury. Only this month there's been a meeting with a whole lot of people that are dedicating themselves to taking that particular vision and dream forward. And something else I just mentioned, which is way over £20 million has been allocated by, very surprisingly, the UK government to pioneering Glastonbury, a very wonderful thing, whereby the aim is within a fairly short period of time to have the majority of all the food within the 5-mile radius of Glastonbury Tor to be grown and produced by people actually in this locality. So it's by joining everything together, and there's a wonderful movement also in this area which is called Crops Not Shops. That's something you can look at. People are already realizing that the future way to be is actually to break away from going to a place to buy everything and being directly involved in enjoying the production and the growing and the pleasure and the being with these wonderful plants. This is what I find about the plant kingdom. It's a really great place to catalyze 5D experiences, especially if you grow plants, because then you notice how much they grow, when you notice how they grow, when you notice their delight and their joy in growing. And when these courgettes produce their beautiful yellow trumpet flowers, they are just magnificent. So this is what 5D is about. 5D is loosening our attachments to our identities and to our achievements, and increasing our delight in our joy in the tiny moments of everyday life. Like when I walk out of this polytunnel, I'm going to stroll down the garden. I'm looking at the raspberries, the tayberries and the loganberries, and look to see if any of them are ripe. And I will pick some, and I will eat some, and I'll take some to the fridge in Glastonbury, which is a place where people take away free food. This is all part of the 5D experience as well. Giving away what you can afford to give is all part of the journey. Receiving what other people are willing to give for nothing, that's all part of the journey too. So it's not about saying anything is wrong, it's about celebrating where we are now on this fantastic continuum in between the 3D and the 5D, weaving themselves in and out of each other, just like the two snakes, the DNA double helix, which is a physical manifestation of the 13 helixes of our DNA. All the love to you, and thank you.